Your agent workflow fans out into three branches. One branch checks policy, one branch calls a tool, one branch writes the final answer. The answer is confident, the trace is green, the tool call succeeded. But the decision is wrong because the final branch inherited stale execution state from its sibling. It saw an old workflow step. It saw an old resource claim. It saw retry metadata that belonged to a different path. So the model did something that looks like hallucination. Locally, it made sense. Operationally, it was poisoned before the prompt reached the model. Context poisoning is metadata migration across async task boundaries. Not user context, not a bigger prompt window, execution context. A value from one task leaks into another task's prompt, tool context, or telemetry context. That value might be workflow step, it might be agent role, it might be retry of, resourced, tenant, or a baggage entry you thought was harmless. Once that value lands in the wrong branch, the agent starts reasoning from the wrong operating state. The model is not inventing a world from nothing. You gave it the wrong world. This is why normal debugging misses it. The span for the tool call looks fine. The model response has a clean explanation. The queue consumer started on time. The callback returned a normal status. If you inspect each piece alone, there is no obvious defect. The contradiction only appears when you compare branch lineage. This branch says it is writing the final answer, but its baggage says it is still in the policy check. The bug is not in one span. The bug is in the relationship between spans. The leak usually starts at branch creation. An async task is spawned while the current span is dirty. A thread local value still points at the previous worker. A contextvars value was copied when the task was created, then reused after the branch changed. A queue payload carries baggage from the publish path without filtering it for the consumer path. None of those mistakes look dramatic in code review. They look like normal propagation, but propagation without a boundary is how sibling state becomes shared state. Healthy branches share only the parent request and trace lineage. They do not share mutable workflow state. The policy branch has its branched, its resource claims, and its tool outputs. The retrieval branch has its own. The final answer branch can link back to both, but it does not inherit either branch as its identity. A poison branch breaks that rule. It carries stale workflow step, stale agent role, or stale resourced. Now it can make the right decision for the wrong branch. The guardrails are boring, which is good. Keep trace context immutable. Create explicit branch IDs at fanout. Flush branch local state when a task starts. Use baggage allow lists instead of copying every key forward. Validate workflow step, agent role, resourced, and retry lineage at tool boundaries. If a branch claims state that does not belong to its lineage, prune it before its output reaches the workflow. That is the operational move. Do not only ask whether the model hallucinated. Ask which execution state reached the model, and whether that state belonged to this branch. Which async pattern bites you most? Stale trace context, retry inherited state, or baggage leaking across branches? Drop your answer in the comments. Subscribe for the next observability breakdown.